Diversifit is a project proposal that I developed in the course of the first two business courses that I took at Nate, and that's kind of been developing in my brain for a couple of years. What I'm looking to do is offer programming that's inclusive for disabled populations, children, adults, and caregivers, to actually get them into the community, into our facilities, training with people who aren't disabled, because everyone should have access to the same opportunities and services and programming that's out there. And right now we know that a lot of disabled people have very serious barriers of access. So the Diversifit program is a training and transition tool to help disabled people learn more about their fitness opportunities and make their way into community centers and gyms across the area. All right, so disabled people and caregivers, first of all, in terms of creating accessible programming, there's a need because they're people, right? Shockingly enough, even disabled people have health and fitness needs that are the same as most other human bodies, possibly even more so depending on comorbid conditions and different things impacting their health. But what's different with the disabled population is that they have significant barriers of access, including cost and lack of education and accessible facilities and inaccessible programming options, and generally just a lack of knowledge of where to go. We know that we have a significant need to help support this population, especially as it ages, because we are seeing more and more disabled people as our population grows older. But at this point, we just don't have any information on what the needs are, how to address those needs, and more importantly, any plan or strategy to actually do so. Not yet. He's just putting them together. You put them back on the window track. Sam, you are the coolest kid I've ever seen. So the trains are stuck in between the window pane and the door, and are able to go back and forth as we drive without falling off because the wheels fit in that little track. So Sam has found a way to turn our car into a train track for his trains because he is the coolest kid on the entire planet. Say hi, Sam. Hi. Yeah, you are so fun. Okay, Mommy is going to pause the video. Bye-bye. Choo-choo. Choo-choo. That's right.
Yeah, you have to put that one on Facebook.
So when I approached Autism Edmonton to see if we wanted to try doing kind of a miniature version of Diversifit, the response was surprised because it really didn't fall into the scope of what they felt they should be looking at as an organization. But I think that together we made a really strong case for why we have this need in our population. And as service providers, we either have to help facilitate transition to services that are already offering this, or when there aren't any, fill in those gaps. And as we know at Edmonton, there really isn't anything quite like this. And so we kind of brainstormed what we were looking for in terms of our recruitment, and we decided that we would do kind of two cohorts, one of autistic adults and one of caregivers for autistic people. And the reason why we stayed with the adults as opposed to the children, honestly, is just safety and ensuring that I had the professional capacity and skills and knowledge to give to the people I was working with the support that they needed. Children have a variety of different needs that are very distinct from adult populations, and I wanted to make sure that the adults were able to give consent, or that their caregivers were able to give consent in a very informed way. Caregivers of autistic individuals have been identified as having really, really high stress ratings and also severe health and wellness barriers themselves as well, just simply because of some of the challenges that come from professional caregiving, as we refer to it, or 100% 24/7 caregiving for children and adult needs. So we went with that cohort, reached out, got some interested members, sent them a really long survey where they kind of gave us an idea of where they were at in terms of their health and wellness, did initial screening to make sure everyone was medically cleared to go, and then began kind of the interview process and moved forward from there. Wound up with 4 caregivers and with 2 autistic adult participants. One of the caregivers did have to drop out due to a medical emergency that was unrelated to the program, but we did wind up having a fantastic group of 5 individuals. So Raheem is one of my autistic clients. Just as a note, all of the clients did give permission to have their names and information used for this project. And so I'll just address them by first name. He is a 26-year-old autistic male who is a student at university, is taking programs at NATE, has very high ambitions of being a landscaper, electrician, plumber, general workhorse, or jack of all trades, as he calls it, like his hero Mike Holmes. And we talked a lot about that during his programming. Raheem has actually been self-sufficient in his training for a little while. He goes regularly to the gym. He went to a facility called Jasper Place, which unfortunately is shut down for a year. So we were transitioning into a new facility called St. Francis Xavier. One of the things about Raheem that was interesting to work with is that he likes things to be very rigidly ordered and has a really big structure to how he likes to do things. So getting him to adjust his program was a very long process that we worked on for several weeks. And at the end of it, the big goal was to have a progressive program in place that would build week onto week, even without me, that he can follow, so that he's not always doing the same weights on the same machines at the same speed and interval indefinitely, which is what we were kind of dealing with originally. We also did some form correction and generally had a really great time learning how to use this new equipment in this new space. There we go. So now I can see your back muscles. That's how I know that you're working nice and hard. And then we'll look at the video and you can see what it looks like, okay? How did that feel?
Good thing.
Was that hard?
It was kind of hard, but it was okay.
Is your heart racing a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we want, okay?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I'm here with Raheem.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Raheem.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good thing.
Raheem, we've been working together for several weeks now.
Thank you very much for helping me do personal training. Thank you very much.
You are very welcome. I've really enjoyed working with you.
Neat, that's good.
Did you learn anything?
Yes, I did. Like weights there, and I did the dumbbell curls.
Yeah, we did dumbbell curls. That was
Yeah.
new for you, hey?
And I did the ball exercise.
That's right, working on the core.
Yeah, working on the core.
Excellent. And we've given you a program
Oh, yeah,
plan
thanks.
for what you can continue to do after, right?
Sure, sounds good.
Excellent. And do you think you're getting stronger?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and why is it important to be strong?
Be a plumber and be in the trade to lift height. I think I'm getting stronger.
Yeah? I think you're getting stronger too, and I think you're going to be a wonderful plumber.
Oh yeah, and then, like big and strong like Mike Holmes, and you have to be tough working in the cold weather, like shoveling the snow, and it can help you become a landscaper for sure.
That's right, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
What's your favorite exercise?
I like doing weights.
You like doing the weights?
Yes, I do.
You like the machines?
Yes, I do.
Excellent.
Hey.
So your program plan uses all the same machines,
Okay.
but it's going to tell you how to get even stronger with them, right?
Sure, sounds good.
Wonderful. And if you have any questions, you know that you can always call me, right?
Sure, sounds good.
Excellent. So you had a good time?
Yes, I did.
I'm glad that you spent time with me, and I'm glad that you feel like you learned.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Okay, so we'll talk again soon. Thank you so much for being part of my
You're
practicum.
welcome.
Are you all done now?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful. Then we will talk soon.
Sure, sounds good.
Bye-bye, Raheem.
Bye.
Santwana is a mother of two. She is in her early 40s and is a former and I guess current lover of Pilates and yoga, but she hasn't been practicing very much because, life gets very complex when you have a twice exceptional autistic child and a gifted child. So, twice exceptional being clinically gifted and severely disabled, and her daughter Ivani is also just clinically gifted, which makes for a complex household. Santwana came to me with a serious foundational knowledge of physiology and anatomy because she was an OT in a past life. Now she stays home and homeschools her kids because school options just weren't working out for them. But the fun thing about that is she said, teach me how to teach myself. And so that was a really, really neat goal for us as a team. Every week we went through different manuals and different stages of program design, explaining to her how and why programs work the way that they do so that she was able to actually design her own program. So she would come to me at the end of the week with a program proposal of what she wanted to do based on the conversations we had had earlier. And then I would come and fill in some gaps and tweak the design a little bit just to make sure we were hitting everything we wanted to. Program modifications for Santwana, again, were minimal because the goal really was on self-efficiency. Although at the end of it, she did confess to me that she is really feeling ready to change her body and change her life in pretty dramatic ways. And we had originally just been working on stabilization and muscular endurance and getting, a bit of a routine in place. But now she's looking to develop more strength and reduce her body fat composition and things like that. So she has decided to join the gym with her family, and they will be going 3 times a week. And we have an exercise plan for the family built in along with her personalized plan. Okay, we want to keep the shoulders nice and relaxed, pressed down. Scapula is back, tucked in your back pocket.
Together, or does that matter?
Well, they're going to be moving together, right? So they're moving synergistically, but they will be coming apart as you get closer to your body because you won't have anywhere to go otherwise.
You want them together here, or you?
I usually start with them together. Good. Now what I'm seeing is that you seem to have a lot more range of motion here, and part of that is because your elbows are flaring out to the side just a bit for me. Tuck them in. There we go. Do you feel like you're targeting different muscles there now?
I feel like I'm bumping into my own body.
That's not uncommon for what it's worth. Excellent. And we'll take a quick break after the next 2. Good. And then we'll switch over. We'll take a quick break and then we'll go into the one-legged. Okay?
Okay.
Hi, so I'm here with Santwana. Hi, Santwana. Santwana just finished her final assessment. We reviewed all the exercises that we started with, right? Those fun push-ups. How many push-ups did you do the first time, Santwana?
I think
5.
Yeah.
The first time. And how many did you do tonight?
18.
18 push-ups. 18 push-ups. We are almost at that normative place that we want to be in terms of strength for women your age, which is super exciting. Mm-hmm. So, Santwana, what did you think of our practicum project?
I loved it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved that we figured out what works for me. We figured out what fits in my life. And then as I started to move, I started to figure out what more ways to fit it into my life. And I'm still working on that.
For sure.
Right?
Now, the big goal for you was self-efficiency. So we did a lot of learning, not just training, right?
Yes.
And do you feel that we accomplished that goal?
Yes. I can design a workout. I understand more about the exercise physiology, the whole, that ATP-CP thing versus the glycolysis.
That's right. I sure did teach her that,
versus,
which means I understand it. Just putting it out there.
Versus the aerobic piece. I have a better understanding of how to do strength exercises and how little time they can take and how to fit them in to my very turbulent
Complex life.
at
Yeah, for
times.
sure.
And also my family has started to exercise more. So
Which is the long game.
yes. And the next step I figured out is to make it something I do with my kids, because my kids are often a barrier to me doing this. So
Yeah.
which is why we're pursuing membership at a rec center.
And everybody wins when it's a whole family activity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that that's the big learning that I've taken too, is it has to become something that is sustainable with the family unit,
Yeah.
or else it's not sustainable at all.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And part of our culture.
Yeah,
Family
for
culture.
sure.
Yeah.
So awesome. Do you have any final words to share with my professor?
Zita's awesome.
I am awesome. We haven't met, but let me tell you, I'm pretty awesome. Not gonna lie.
No, but I do really appreciate it because I felt respected. I felt empowered. I felt that my barriers are acknowledged as real things, that there are ways around them, but the first step is to realize that they're not fake, right?
Right, for sure.
And they're not, real challenging things do happen in our lives.
Absolutely.
And then we find our way around those and through those. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for doing this with me. It's
Yeah,
been
thank
an
you, Zita.
absolute pleasure.
Yes.
And I look forward to many more conversations in the future.
Yes, thank you. Zita.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Bye.
Kate is lovely. Kate is another one of my autistic participants. She is 22 and she is also a student like Raheem. She attends Concordia and is taking open studies in a lot of different areas. Kate really did not want to exercise. She really wanted to hang out. And she's a really interesting person. And so I enjoyed doing that very much. But I had to, of course, make sure that I was doing my job and fulfilling my role as her trainer. So I had to get pretty creative with Kate, because she got pretty creative with me when it came to steering us off course and back towards the couch. Kate is really motivated by science fiction. This is a passion for her. And so what I wound up doing is I built her what we refer to as a LARPing model, which is live action role play. I built a game for us that integrated a couple of her favorite fandoms of Supernatural and Doctor Who. And so we kind of had this ongoing story motif where exercise was part of the evolving story, and where we had to do certain things in order to make the characters in the story proud of us and feel that we were moving the plot forward. So kind of like Dungeons and Dragons meets personal training. And what we would do then also is we would put Supernatural on in front of the TV, because as long as she had something to watch, Kate was willing to do just about everything. And you know what? It was awesome, because when you immerse yourself in somebody else's interests, it's really easy for you to build a strong relationship. Kate and I have come out of this as really good friends. I will be continuing to train her after the practicum. And more importantly, she is starting to actually really enjoy doing exercise and would text me and tell me, hey, I went on the treadmill today for half an hour. And this kind of evolution in her understanding that movement is a celebration, which is hard because Kate has a really complex body profile, scoliosis with some serious hip issues, an anterior pelvic twist that makes her legs hurt really badly. And so we did a lot of corrective exercise, foundational work with her, and I taught her how to stretch and use stability balls and bands and get into those muscles that have been underactive to try to reinforce them and relax the overactive muscles a little bit. So the biggest win for me when it comes to Kate is that the quality of life has improved because her pain management is so much better, right? When I was talking to her mom cried, and it was just this awesome moment of seeing someone's life really directly improved because of the work we were doing. Challenges. You will see on my preceptor report that the one comment that Lauren made Lauren was my supervisor over at Autism Edmonton. She's the program manager. The comment that she made was that sometimes I get a little overeager and take on too much, and I think it's cute that she put it that subtly. But what was I thinking? This is an enormous project, and I knew that at the time. I knew that at best we would be scratching the surface. But what I was hoping for is that we would get the wheels turning. The barriers I ran into were exactly as I predicted. Autism families have really chaotic, difficult, very, very complex scheduling needs between therapeutic appointments and between trying to manage different needs that emerge on a daily basis. Every single one of my caregiver clients canceled on me at least 4 times, which doesn't sound like a lot, but there were 4 of them, and that's 16 cancellations in a period of 9 weeks. And as a full-time student and full-time worker myself, boy, that made things very complicated. That being said, because of the nature of the project, finding a way to schedule around that really became important to me. And I was able to make up all of those appointments, and I feel that the cost to my mental health may not have been that great, and definitely my physical health, but the information I got was important, because I think that there's a stereotype that says that people who don't show up or don't schedule things just aren't prioritizing exercise. And that's not the case at all that I ran into. What I ran into is, it's not that exercise and fitness isn't a priority. It's that compared to your child having a grand mal seizure, it gets bumped, right? And in terms of priority levels, something can still be very important and not be what you need to deal with in that moment. And when you're dealing with high intense crisis situations on a frequent basis, you have to put the emergency needs first. And when there's openings in the schedule, that's where you fit things in, which leads me to conclude that any future programming models must be built around the same model that we looked at with Santuana, which is self-efficiency and flexibility. We need to empower people to train themselves so that they can fit these into the places of their schedule, those little blocks of time that do exist. So were we successful? I think that I can safely say yes. What I know as a trainer is that all of my participants, all 6 of them, including the one who had to absent herself, have asked to continue services with me wherever I might wind up, but hopefully through the continuation of this project, given that we have been approved for a grant for $10,000 to begin working with children, and are hoping to have mirror grants to work with adults and with caregivers as well. So hopefully this little tiny dream project of mine is actually going to turn into something meaningful and valuable for the Edmonton community. And I expect that we will be able to find a way to support many families. In terms of actual observable metrics, though, the exit surveys showed a 100% approval rating. Every participant indicated that they had increases in their quality of life, that they felt stronger and more empowered, that they were more confident in their ability to perform physical activity, and that they were eager to continue on with the changes that they had made in their lifestyle. All of these things are really encouraging for us. The biggest one for me was everyone reported an increase in mental health as well as quality of sleep. And those are 2 really key metrics in this community, both for caregivers and for autistic individuals. Okay, so the rating of the professional performance. This is always a hard one, because generally you want to do the humble brag thing and be like, I wasn't that great. No, I rocked it. I'm not gonna lie. I gave everything I had to this project for the last 4 months. Blood, sweat, and tears. My husband and I think that I put in probably in the neighborhood of 140 hours, which is twice what the hours expected were, because what I logged were specific only to clients and didn't include anything on research or anything in terms of actual program designing, anything in terms of calls to the community, building the facility PowerPoint program that I will be able to take to facilities to help them build inclusion policies, right? Just so much really good, positive work. Communication is actually, that was a pretty good strength for me because we know our own, and amazingly enough, people who live this life are able to speak to others who live this life relatively easily. I got along very well with the clients and had very little issues with that. In terms of information gathering, probably my weak point. I need to develop better systems for storing my information instead of just using kind of books and stuff and writing things down and taking a week to put them into the computer and log them. Definitely something I'm going to think through in terms of files management. Demonstrations, I'm coming along. I can pick up and cue like the best of them and find what I need to find in my participants. I'm still a little bit shy about making sure that I know what I'm doing when I show it to them. But the good thing is whatever I'm doing is translating for the most part to them doing the exercise right, which is good. Punctuality and availability. Well, availability, I nailed. I was very, very available and very flexible to their schedule. Punctuality, I've got to work on. And it was tough because mobile training is really challenging. People were all over the place, lots of travel time, unpredictable things in terms of road conditions. So if I were to take on mobile training again, I would want to really factor in that time commitment and the cost commitment, as well as any contingencies for when things go badly. And finally, my knowledge. I really worked hard in the last couple of years. I have gained a lot of knowledge. I have so much to learn. And this has, again, scratched the surface of all the good things that are coming in terms of that learning and growth. But as far as things go as a graduating student, I can say I feel really confident that I know what I'm doing and I'm ready to take on more clients and hopefully change the world. So